What's up?
Hello.
How's everybody doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Good. It's good. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the THF Extra Point Podcast. NFL Week 6. How was it? Was it crazy? How'd your teams do?
Yeah, it was interesting, especially since me and Dabs won against each other this week. GG.
Oh, little podcast on podcast crime going on.
It wasn't really much of a competition for him.
Did you get stomped, Dabs?
What was it, like 45, 50 points, something like that?
I think I had 170. You had 120 something, I think.
Yeah. It's a solid,
GG
solid win by Genuvion.
Not quite the ass beating that I experienced this week. I was the biggest blowout of the week. Arrow Dark handed it to me big time. Ooh, that's not what I'm trying to do.
Bro, got Clash Royale.
Clash of Clans right now, you know? What the hell? I was trying to bring up my my Twitch, but I don't know where it is. That's unfortunate. New iPad. I haven't organized it and everything. Yeah. There he is, right there. Arrow Dark. His team did great. How about mine? Yeah, stomped a freaking hole in me. He did. I was the biggest blowout of the week, like I was saying. It was not fun, but hey, you know what? We just keep on trucking.
Well, let's just
keep on trucking.
I think we can all celebrate that Brian is losing and his train is crashing at a great rate.
That is 2 in a row from the old 4-0. The Jeffersons, I believe, was. It's been so long ago since he had a his own name. You know, 2 weeks in a row getting renamed as the biggest loser.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, the Jeffersons, they're on a 0-2 streak.
Well, that's an interesting one. The Arrow Dark said.
How's that Javonte over Breece Hall pick working? I didn't pick Javonte over Breece Hall. I picked Kittle. And it did really good for me the week before last. Not so much this week. What do you have? 1 catch this week?
That's kind of how Kittle plays. You'll have like a couple really good cracked games, and then he'll just have like games with like 2 points. Did that for me all year last year.
Yeah, that's kind
Kittle's
of a bummer.
like top 3 tight end or like tight end 29.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. I was in a weird situation. I really was on what to pick. Now I will say, so far, you know, because my backup strategy or my alternate strategy that I could have done is I could have chose to not keep Austin Eckler, and I would have had that my very first draft pick open, and I would have been able to get. I probably would have grabbed Bijan Robinson, which, you know, maybe down the road he's great, but so far even Eckler without even being out a couple weeks has probably scored more points than Bijan Robinson. So kind of glad I got Eckler back. That should give me a boost. It didn't this week. Of course, he was going against the Cowboys. You know, Cowboys and that stellar defense.
Well, it's just been a tough year for running backs so far. I mean, there's been so many injuries and running backs, and even like people like Christian McCaffrey are like averaging 3 yards a carry in the past 2 games for Christian McCaffrey, and like Bijan Robinson's been having some bad weeks, and Kyren Williams is like injured right now. He's not too bad, but it's just been rough all around.
Yeah, there's been a lot of injuries in addition to guys just not performing at their best right now.
Yeah,
kind of crazy.
Breece Hall's an interesting one because it looked like he was gonna start off slow and kind of stay that way, especially with how the Jets' offense was looking. But he's picked it up. and it seemed like you started picking it up right after he made that comment about them not giving him the ball, and then that next game he just balled out.
Yeah, the first couple weeks, my not choosing not to keep him as a keeper because he was on my team last year. First couple weeks looked like I made the right decision. I'm not so sure now. And the Jets. I mean, we can get right into pick'ems and get right to the Jets.
I'm so glad I picked the Jets, dude.
You're glad. I think you might be one of the only ones that did.
Me and Arrow Dark, that's it.
Yeah, you and Arrow Darks, bro. I think you guys were the only ones. Let's take a look.
I can give you the reasoning behind why I picked that too.
I'd love to hear it.
The Eagles are, I'm not going to say they're a bad team. They're solid. They're good. But when you're looking at the game they had against Washington, the Washington Commanders are not that good. Their defense is okay, but they went toe-to-toe with them, and that's a team that lost to the Cardinals. And my thinking behind this is the game they had against New England at the beginning of the year where they barely won that, and you see how, New England's playing now. And I was like, I don't think it would be that hard for the Jets to win against them as much as people think they will, because they almost beat the Chiefs last week. I felt like it was a risk, but it was possible. So that was my reasoning behind that.
I mean, I had kind of that same reasoning for picking against Philly last week. And they almost proved me right last week. And I just said, they're not as good as the record suggests, and that bubble is going to pop eventually. I didn't see it popping against the Jets. I really didn't. But credit Jets defense, because I mean, they stole that game at the end of the game.
Now, I was really, really close to picking the Browns too, because of that defense, but I was already iffy about the Jets pick, so I just kept it safe. But that was a crazy game. I'm still very surprised that they lost that.
The only person that picked Cleveland to win in our pick'ems somehow got everything else wrong, because Psycho Nana was last placed in the pick'ems. Well, actually, she still did pretty good comparatively. But she was last place in the pick'ems, but she was the only one to get the Cleveland pick right.
Yeah, that was a really crazy game. The defense really won that one. And I was even having some arguments and some YouTube comments about this Brock Purdy talk. There's a lot of butthurt 49ers fans right now. And, Brock Purdy's a great quarterback, but he's going to be on my duress list coming into the future, because after he lost those two main weapons, it looked like that offense was not working correctly. And, that's not a good sign for Purdy, who's supposed to be MVP status. But
yeah, the kicker. Okay, so Seven's got a good point. The kicker lost that game, right?
Well, but Moody.
But it's the 49ers versus Cleveland. That game shouldn't have come down to a field goal.
You can't blame just one person.
We already saw what 49ers did to one of the best defenses in the league in the Cowboys.
Cleveland has a hell of a defense, man. Jim Schwartz and their defenses, they're legit.
You think their defense is better than the Cowboys' defense?
No, I do not think they're better.
With MVP status quarterback and with all the weapons the 49ers still have without Debo and Christian McCaffrey out, they should be able to put up more points on the board than the Browns with a backup quarterback. I know their defense is great. Yeah, third
Dorian Thompson-Robinson's their second string. They just signed up PJ Walker from the practice squad.
Yeah, that's even more of a shocker.
It's weird.
I mean, I wasn't even considering what Cleveland put on the field. I'm just thinking it's the 49ers, Yeah. When they beat the Cowboys, I had to eat some crow and say they are really, really good. Like way better than I thought. Now, they played the perfect game against the Cowboys, and the Cowboys didn't necessarily play their best. So, and you got that with the 42-10 result. But there's no way anybody saw that, really realistically saw this game being close.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'd love to see what was the line on this game. We don't have Firestorm here today, guys, and I
know,
probably should have mentioned that
gambling
already.
Yeah,
expert
you would have
is-
it.
It's 11 minutes into the show, and I didn't even mention we're missing Firestorm tonight. If he gets a chance to check in, he will. But he took an emergency overtime shift tonight that he couldn't get out of, and so hope it all goes well for you if you're out there, Ray. And we'll see you next week for sure. And in the Discord, of course, you can always catch Ray in the Discord. If you're not part of the Discord,
I
join
feel
the
like
Discord.
we should maybe we should put together our 4-pick parlay in our chat and maybe just post it.
Yeah, we'll skip that segment tonight, and we'll get with Ray behind the scenes and we'll put that together and we'll get it posted in the Discord. And we'll talk about what our parlay did last week in a little bit. We'll let you know how that went if you didn't already catch it.
Let's just say by noon it was decided.
Yeah, that was rough. Digital Navy says that it was a 36-point line and the Niners were favored by 9.5. 9.5 is a massive spread.
Yeah, I don't think anyone saw that happening with how the 49ers have been playing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I agree, but like a lot of beat writers about even Cleveland because that's the closest team to me. So it like wasn't surprising to me, but it was like, yeah,
it was unlikely.
It was unlikely. It was like hoping for the best, preparing for the worst.
Definitely going to send out some motivation to Cleveland's way after winning against the Niners for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Probably said Ray's got to earn enough to cover the wild bets he makes. That's why it was an emergency shift he had to pick up.
Yeah.
He had some bets this week, bro.
All he had to do was copy my bets T for T, and he added that freaking CeeDee Lamb one, and he had that running back for over, and I had him put it under, thank God. I hope he makes his money back because I know how it feels.
He said he won on a couple of them that he took your advice on, though.
Yeah, he all the ones that he took my advice from, he won, but he had that one in the parlay that was a CeeDee Lamb anytime touchdown, and sadly, Cooks got the touchdown, not CeeDee.
CeeDee had a massive game, 117 yards, I think it was, 7 catches. I mean, great game. He was putting on a clinic, catching some wild stuff, but
yeah, CeeDee,
but no end zone, Again, the Cowboys kind of struggled in the red zone.
Yeah, like they usually
red
do.
Zone pick. Dak threw another red zone pick.
Yeah, they I mean, the game was a lot closer than it should have been, but I do have to say that the Cowboys looked a lot better than they did in the last game, and even in the last few games, debatably, because Dak finally started running the ball again. You saw him running it. And he got that rushing touchdown. That was one of my favorite plays of him, probably I've seen in a while.
That's the longest run of his career.
It faked me out when I watched that.
His career.
I totally thought that they were just going to hand it to Pollard like usual, and then we weren't going to get it because that's a total Cowboys thing to do. And then I see Dak doing something good, and he makes a touchdown. And
it was insane.
It was insane.
I didn't. He faked me out too. Like I thought Pollard had the ball.
Everyone in the offense besides Gallup, like I was talking to you about earlier, seemed like we were finally clicking. Like Cooks was getting the ball, Lamb was getting the ball, Pollard was making moves, Dak was making moves. The defense was doing pretty good. So, I mean, we looked better. I mean, I would have liked it if it was a lot more high scoring, which it should have been with the talent we have. But
it was a good game by the Cowboys for sure. And we won't pound that one too hard because I know not everybody is a Cowboy fan out there, but the way the defense played good the whole game. The last 2 plays, they played great. Micah finally got the one and only sack of the game on the second to last play, and they intercepted the ball on the final play, final real play.
I think that won the game, by the way. Those final 2 drives that really won us the game because Chargers offense is nothing to play with. They could have easily gotten that first down there. Keenan Allen's always open.
Actually looked like they ran a West Coast offense. happier with that game versus the Pats. Yeah, this was a much more quality win. This is the first major quality win that the Cowboys have had, because the Chargers are, besides the 49ers, the Chargers are the next best team that they've played so far in the season. So definitely the best game. But what happened to your Titans this week, Dabs?
Oh, Jesus. A lot of things, man. They came back for a while. This is what we were talking about in chat. You know, it's an emotional roller coaster, man. They shit the bed the first half, came back in the third quarter, and then Tannehill shockingly turned the ball over. So.
Is that the one Baltimore? I think Homely said it a little while ago. Was that Tucker that won that game for them? For Baltimore, wasn't it kind of close at the end?
It was an 8-point game, if I'm correct.
Okay, maybe he was talking about a different game.
Yeah, it's just they're on the verge of a rebuild, man. They need to trade Henry while they can get value out of him, because they're not using him like they need to. Tannehill is outdated. I guess.
So when Henry had the ball, he was trucking again in this game, wasn't he?
I know, right? They just don't use him like they should. When they started using him in the third quarter is when they got things on track.
Didn't the quarterback get injured? Because I didn't really get to watch that game since it was so early.
Yeah, when we go over the injury report here, yeah, he got here as a
who's his backup?
That's the other thing. They don't even really know. Malik Willis or Will Levis.
Have any of those guys started before? Are they rookies or?
Will Levis is a rookie. Idea. He's the rookie from Kentucky, and then Malik Willis is from Liberty. He's a second-year guy, so he started a few games last year, but he did not do very good. So they're both basically rookies. That's who we got.
Is that what happened last year to the Titans? I can't remember. They went 7-3 and then lost the division.
Yes.
Oof.
And yeah, that's starting.
It's rough, man. They have a great run defense though. Fantastic run defense. Jeffrey Simmons in the middle there it's a good defensive line. Secondary sucks. Passing game sucks.
Yeah, that team definitely needs to rebuild.
That Chicago-Minnesota game was a dud.
No, let's talk about that, because who was giving me shit? 7, saying that was the riskiest pick in the parlay.
I was giving you shit on that too.
However,
during the show last week, I was like, "Ooh, I got it right about that."
I got it.
Not only did I think it was going to be a higher scoring game than it was, but I thought Chicago was going to win that, as I've evidenced by my pick here that sucked.
I mean,
I could have won pick'ems.
Yeah, the Vikings offense did not look that great. They did not look that good. Addison was still the highest scoring receiver, but he was on 3 receptions and a touchdown. So
I knew they were going to suck.
Touchdown.
I knew they were going to suck.
Yeah.
That's why I picked the Bears. I just didn't realize the Bears were going to suck worse. It's like I thought they were kind of getting on a roll.
And Justin Fields injured now. I don't think he's going to get his starting spot back anymore.
Who's behind him?
Man, I got to look that one up because I don't remember this guy's name.
You want me to do the injury report while you're looking it up?
How bad is Fields hurt?
Let's see here.
Dislocated right thumb on his non-throwing hand. But
so is he going to miss? He's not even going to miss a game, is he?
I'm pretty sure it's non-throwing hand, but they said he's going to miss some time.
Really?
They said either
not. Isn't it Bagant? Is that his name? Bagant?
Oh, yeah.
Tyson Bagant. That's who's starting.
Huh. Never heard of him.
Me neither. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what the Bears do on that quarterback side. I saw that they ended up drafting somebody else again.
Arrow Dark says located on
his throwing hand. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was on his throwing hand or not. All right, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Do you want me to do the injury report?
Yeah, let's hit it. Let's. What else is? Well, hang on just a second, because let's see. We got what else? What else was big winners and losers this week?
Oh yeah,
Rams was kind of a no-brainer. Nobody even picked Arizona to win that game. Carolina, Miami. Nobody picked Carolina, and that was a done deal. Almost nobody picked New England to beat Vegas. That was another Psycho Nana reach, but Vegas won that game handedly. Same with Detroit over Tampa Bay, but that was a little bit closer, wasn't it?
It wasn't that close.
Oh, that's right. That's right. No, that was that Detroit won that one handedly too. I was running errands Sunday, so I missed a lot of football because I take advantage of when the Cowboys are playing on Monday. That means I got to get shit done on Sunday. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody's sleeping on the Lions anymore. In fact, as a matter of fact, I had them winning the division in our preseason show.
Yes, so I did as well.
Yeah, I think most people said it was going to come down to the Lions or the Packers, although I had the Packers out too.
The Lions are looking really good. They're going to be a scary team to go against in the playoffs with how they're looking, especially if Montgomery can stay healthy. They have some weapons, and Goff is putting it together.
Well, I think Montgomery, we're going to talk about him on your injury report too, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's, Cincy, are they back? Are we ready to say that they're back?
Cincy, I think that they're a competitive team. I don't know if they're back all the way yet because they still barely won that game, but Seattle is a pretty good team in my opinion.
Hey,
so it is a fair win. I think we got to see a couple more games going on, but yeah, they look like they're definitely playing a whole lot better than they were at the beginning. That's for sure.
They are right on schedule. It happened last year. It's just happening the same thing this year. They pick it up slowly as the season goes, and they finish strong. So,
yeah, they kind of are right on time. They'll get what they're still second in their division, right? Or are they third? I didn't look at the. It's getting to the point. It's getting far enough into the season now where it's okay to look at the standings. It's like, week 1 and 2, it's like, who cares? First place, second place, you're talking a matter of. But now there's starting to be some separation.
Yeah, I got Ravens at 4-2, and then Steelers and Browns at 3-2, and then Bengals at 3-3. So that division's pretty even.
Yeah, 1 game back. That's it. Easy. Yeah, they're still in it. There's a couple teams that are probably already out. The Patriots. Sorry, Ray. Rip. The Giants, probably. Bears, probably. Yeah. Panthers, definitely. They're 0-6.
They're not making it.
Cardinals are 1-5. Their only win comes against the Cowboys, but it's like.
Would be surprised if the Vikings or the Colts made it.
Yeah, 2-4 is pretty close to a death nail too. That's not that's a pretty big hole to try to climb out of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if you're 2-3, you're not too far off from 500. Sometimes 500 teams will get lucky and snag a wild card. It depends on how the rest of if all the good teams are in one division, then some of those bad divisions are gonna throw some trash into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Saints let down, lost against the Texans this week. Texans put up 20 against 13 against them. So
you see how those picks are on the show, right? All four of us picked Houston.
I'm glad.
All 4 of us picked Houston. Almost everybody else in the community picked New Orleans.
I thought it was going to be blowout, but
I listened to Januvial and his CJ Stroud praise.
I hate to say it because I don't like the Houston Texans. I don't like any Houston team. I never will root for a Houston team, but they're They're surprising people. I think they're the dark horse. They're the dark horse team.
They have a great offense.
I feel about Houston the way you feel about Philly or the Giants. So.
Oh, and I hate them too.
So
I hate them worse. I mean, I really just don't like Houston area teams just because I always feel like they're some of the worst anti-Cowboy, anti-Rangers, I mean, they don't even have a hockey team and they hate the Dallas Stars. You know?
Yeah.
It's like I just don't like them. They're like the little brother in the market. In the sports market, they're like Dallas's little brother. Little whiny, bratty, jealous, fucking I just can't stand them. Can't stand them. I'll never root for Houston. Especially the Astros. Go Rangers. Sorry. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always going to root for the Dallas teams, but anyone Texas, like if they're going against someone else, I'm going to root for them, you know. I don't have a problem with the Texans. I'll root for them, but you know, they're not my team or anything.
Yeah, it goes way back. You're too young.
They were like the Texans were like made when I was born.
Yeah,
Didn't
right.
the Texans franchise start in like 2001?
Yeah, when they moved Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, that's when I was born. 2001.
Yeah, you know, there used to be the Houston Oilers, but they moved to Tennessee, became the Tennessee Titans. So
they had that nice powder blue uniform.
Houston Texans are an original franchise. Like they weren't somebody pre-existing. They didn't come from anywhere. It was an expansion team.
Got any other games y'all want to talk about before we close this off?
Yeah, you guys got riled up about Houston. I already forgot.
I definitely can talk about the Giants and Buffalo game. That game was almost the third blowout game of the week after Jets and Browns winning, which would have been insane. It almost happened too.
You mean upset? What? The Giants almost won that?
Yeah, the Giants almost won that game. Did you not watch it?
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't see any of that game.
That was a really close game.
Interference, right? That they didn't call?
Yeah, it was a pass interference that they did call, I believe, and then there was one they didn't call at the end on Waller where he was literally grabbing his jersey and pulling him, and they didn't call it.
That was the one I was talking about, yeah.
It was still on the Giants. They should have just rushed Barkley in when they're that close, but, I mean, I don't know. It shouldn't have been that close. It seems like Josh Allen only does as good as the other team does. Like against Miami, he goes insane, pops off, you know, gets 40+ points or whatever the score was, and then now against the Giants, they barely win. It's crazy. And some people are trying to say Daniel Jones might lose his job. I don't think it's gonna come down to that. But
no, yeah, he won't.
They can't eat their words for another year or two.
Yeah, they've committed to him.
And
he's been in the seat long enough to where they're not going to bench him to give him confidence. He's past that stage in his career, so now they're gonna ride him until they actually have a better option, which you know they won't until next year if they.
Dude, Tyrod Taylor's aesthetic just makes the Giants look cold. And when I'm looking at Daniel Jones out there, he's like, what's going on?
This is the next Eli Manning.
He is. He's literally Eli Manning's son, bro.
You know, how did they get two dumb faces in a row? How? You know, what are the odds of that? This guy makes the goof, and he's a freaking meme. He's a walking meme. And it's the same meme that Eli Manning too. It's like,
yeah. Did you guys listen to Justin Pugh's intro? Did you guys hear that? No, he hasn't played left tackle since 2019. Okay, the Giants signed him to the practice squad last week, elevated him at the end of the week, and then started him at guard, and then moved him to left tackle during the game. Anyways, so they do their intros, right? You know,
yeah.
Blah 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 and their alma mater, and he just says Justin Pugh straight off the couch.
Yeah, I saw that. Straight off the couch.
Great, bro. Oh,
what was that one guy's name? He was like Sexy Dexy Duke University.
If you haven't seen the Key and Peele bit where they do football names. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny.
No, I've never seen it.
Me and my friends always make fun of that bit because they always. It's so funny when they do those intros for games.
I gotta look that up.
They are hilarious.
That's awesome. Dabs, what you got on the injury report? Who's down?
All right, yeah. So this is all from this past week. I'm not gonna go into like previous week's injuries. Trevor Lawrence hurt his knee. There's at least bruising, and since they play Thursday, it's very doubtful that he's gonna have enough time to play. So Jags will probably be without Trevor Lawrence. Justin Fields hurt his hand.
Yeah.
Dislocated his thumb. Jimmy Garoppolo hurt his back. He was sent to the hospital, but nothing was too serious.
This guy got injured every single week, bro.
Yeah. But he still has his good looks, though.
I don't want to prey on someone's downfall, but like he's injured every week.
Baker Mayfield hurt his hand, but it was, again, nothing too serious, but just something to keep in mind. Ryan Tannehill with a high ankle sprain. He was on crutches and in a boot before the game was over.
He's a boot to miss time.
Yeah. So running backs, Damian Harris obviously left in an ambulance, hurt his neck, but he'll be okay. I mean, he's not going to come back right away, but he's not like in any serious. But he gave a thumbs up on his way out on the stretcher. So Christian McCaffrey, oblique in his ribs, but they're saying today that he was questionable. He's questionable for Monday night, so he might be in there Monday. That's something to watch
Monday
very closely,
game,
Brian.
A little extra time.
Yeah, it's not, the MRI was negative, so they're just going to see how he does this week. Kyron Williams hurt his ankle, but it's not anything major. At best, he'll be questioned. Yeah, at worst, he'll be questioned. If it's not a high ankle sprain, it's manageable. High ankle sprains are the ones that you really got to watch out for in terms of recovery time. Dave Montgomery hurt his ribs, so he might miss some time. Didn't Dave Montgomery just come back?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. Ramondre Stevenson hurt his head and ankle, but those are also nothing serious. But he did leave the game at one point for those things. Wide receivers. Tyreek Hill had cramps. Nothing serious there, but he was taken out of the game. DK Metcalf hurt his hip. He also was taken out, but he came back. But what was more concerning was that his target share and like how often he was targeted was like he only had 4 targets the second half when he came back. So he might not be full strength. Deebo Samuel hurt his shoulder. That's another one. I think that one said the MRI was negative too. Was it X-ray or MRI? One of those, whatever it was negative. So it's not as serious as it could have been.
You know, if he doesn't miss any time, he's probably not in any danger to bench either in fantasy because
he's a flex option at the worst.
He's powerful with his legs. They'll make plays for him running the ball, sweeps, and he'll get plenty of targets too.
If he does miss time, Brandon Ayuk's target share is going to go way up.
And Kittle
too, yeah. Well, again, like maybe Kittle. It depends if they.
That's a big target. I mean,
he's just such a good blocking tight end.
Yeah. And with a backup running back,
you are right though. With the backup running back and wide receiver, there's going to be a lot of checkdowns.
Yeah, it could. There's a lot of things that could happen in San Francisco if those two guys miss any time.
But it's like, you're in a conversation where it's not like, oh my gosh, what are they going to do? It's like, okay, well, this guy's going to just get like there's no concern for depth there. It seems like.
I mean, I don't know. That's what because
they're running backs. They usually do committee before McCaffrey was committee. So like, that's not something they're unfamiliar
Look at how
with.
much of a difference Minnesota, how different Minnesota looks without JJ. Just one guy. You're missing Debo. If you miss Debo and Christian McCaffrey, that offense looks a lot different, bro.
It's more. I feel like it's more serious if they're missing McCaffrey than Debo.
Right, but I'm saying if they miss both of them,
undoubtedly, yes.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
It would be crazy. Alec Pierce hurt his shoulder. He's a wide receiver for the Colts. He left the game in the fourth quarter, and it wasn't looking too good for him to play next week or anything.
To give some more opportunities for Josh Downs.
Josh Downs and Michael Pittman Jr.
Yeah.
LaVisca Chenault, wide receiver, he hurt his ankle and he had to be helped to the locker room. And then there's one tight end, Hunter Henry hurt his ankle. He left the game, but he returned. So that's it for the key offensive ones. I don't do defensive injuries just because it's just more fantasy focused. Yeah, it's not an IDP league, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's not. I don't even know half the guys on the defensive side of the ball, to be quite honest.
I'm in one IDP league, and I have Minka Fitzpatrick and Micah Parsons. So.
Yeah, I'll definitely be down to do that next year in this league. That'd be fun.
How does that injury report affect our games this week? We got Jacksonville and New Orleans.
You got to watch the quarterback. That's a Thursday night game. Like I said, Trevor Lawrence is hurt. There might not be enough time for them to. And they're just coming back from London, too. So.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Was it? No, it was they.
They were 2 weeks ago.
That was Baltimore and Tennessee. My bad.
So for me next week, CJ Stroud, the Texans are on bye, so CJ Stroud is not going to be playing, and Tank Dell's still out for concussion. And then Tony Pollard's on bye for me because of Dallas, and Kyron Williams is injured, so I'm losing both my starting running backs. And then Panthers aren't going to be starting, so I'm not going to have Adam Thielen, so like half my team is going to be out.
And I play you this week, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
Better not lose to my half-broken team, bro.
Hey, I almost lost to Q, so
even I beat Q. He's my only win on the season.
I did lose to Q, so yeah.
Do I have Josh Downs in this? I do. I
can lose to anybody now.
Nice. I picked up Downs a couple weeks ago. I need.
What does it, Dab say? Oh, don't be like me, everyone. Make sure to sub to Wakko so you can do the pick'ems. Yeah. You can play with us. If you're one of my subs, jump into the Discord, send me your picks. Definitely play with us, play with the community. You can play against us. You can see Genuvial has got the lead. 67.7%, 63 points on the season. I'm right behind him at 65.6 with 61 points on the season. Dabs at 60.2, 56 right. Firestorm bringing up the rear, 50 right, just over 50%. And he's not even here to defend himself.
Man. It's just because he's a Patriots fan. If he was a fan of anyone else, he'd have like 4 more wins on the season,
Honestly, that's true because he has picked New England every week.
But he's loyal.
Yep.
He's loyal.
That's his first mistake.
Yeah, dude. I picked against the Cowboys a couple times last year. This year I have not picked against them yet, but I did last year on a couple games.
Well, fair enough. To Dallas's, from their point of view, it's very hard to pick against them in a lot of games.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But it's just the flip side.
But like New England, you could be. It's more like, could they? Maybe. Dallas is like, no, they're probably gonna win.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah.
At least a close game. In fact, that's a very close game.
Oh, I forgot to. Let's go back to that real quick because I do want to ask one more question about the Cowboy game.
Brian, we already made fun of you when you weren't here.
Like I said, it was a close game, and it was closer than I thought it was going to be. And like I said, I was rooting still for my Cowboys to win, even though I had them up there. Like I was still wanting them to go in there and win, but I didn't think it was going to happen. I did not think it was going to happen after we looked last week.
I hope your mom didn't see that. You broke her heart. If she saw that, you broke her heart. Just saying.
Oh my God. Like you said, gotta separate fantasy from the rest, I did it last week over the 49ers, and I knew I shouldn't have. I didn't want that to happen again.
That's what I'm saying. I should have picked against the Cowboys last week and obviously I picked them to win this week, and they did. But last week was a week where I was on the fence. I almost picked San Francisco. just so I could be happy. But but I was like, you know what? No, I got. They deserve my vote, and I went with them. They let me down. They broke my heart. But I knew they wouldn't do it.
We're all used to it. Like, nice.
Plus, Dak is another one of those quarterbacks that doesn't lose 2 games in a row very often, and that's a good. All
right, I got a question. Serious question.
Yeah. Go.
For Cowboys fans specifically, because you guys in the Dallas area, so you guys you have the beat writers, you have all these inside, a lot more about the Cowboys and training camp, preseason, regular season, all that shit.
Yeah.
Is Dak, in your guys' opinion, is he the guy to get you a Super Bowl? Do you still have faith in him? Out of 100%, what's your percentage of can he win a Super Bowl?
I'll just let you go first.
I would say local radio stations. We have 2 major, big sports stations here in the Metroplex, and we've got ESPN too, but they don't really count. They're not as highly listened to as the other 2. So we really have 3 major sports radio stations here in Texas or in the Dallas area. And I would say I only listen to 2 of them. I don't listen to ESPN because I hate them. But
me too.
I would say most of the media in is kind of starting to waver on Dak. Most of them are saying, it's quite possible that he's just not the guy. That he's going to have a great career, a lot of stats. He's going to Tony Romo this thing.
Phillip Rivers, minus the 12 kids or whatever the fuck he's got.
Yeah, exactly. Just a great quarterback, but just can't
Dan Marino-esque.
Great, no, because Dan Marino had a playoff success. Dan Marino had AFC championships. He went to. Did he go to a Super Bowl?
Marino? I didn't think he did.
I think he went to one and lost.
I was infant when that was going on. So,
but I've said this before. There's one of the quarterbacks that are in the greatest of all time discussion. His name is Peyton Manning. He had that reputation of not being able to get it done and not being able to get over the hump until he did. And he won 2 Super Bowls. So, I don't know. I don't know if Dak's the guy or not. I'm not willing to say he definitely is, but I'm not willing to say he definitely isn't either.
So what percentage, in your confidence, 70%, 80%, that he will get you a Super Bowl?
I'm 50-50.
Will win you a Super Bowl, not get you to the Super Bowl. Win you a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm 50-50, honestly. I really is because I know that it doesn't have to, with the team that we've got, the way it's built, it doesn't have to be all on him. And if he can just do enough, he's got a good enough team to do it.
Yeah, I mean, he has a fantastic team. This offense has some of the best weapons we've had in a long time. But the thing with Dak, especially as a Cowboys fan, we haven't won anything in so long. It's hard to be confident in a quarterback that always fucks up in the playoffs every single year, gets us there, and then loses. So obviously, Dak, especially with last game, has looked a lot better, and I'm rooting for him. But do I believe in him? No, not really. I don't. Just because I know what it's like to be a Cowboys fan. When you get your hopes up, what happens? You lose in the playoffs to some team that you shouldn't have lost to because Dak gets a little bit too nervous. And I can sit here and say all day long the Cowboys look so much better because of last game. Dak looked like him old self, but he could potentially just go back and be the same old Dak next week or the following weeks or in the playoffs. So I think our team has a small chance to make it to the Super Bowl and definitely a high chance to go to do well in the playoffs. But is Dak going to win a Super Bowl for us? That's a hard no for me. I don't think so.
See, I think it's gonna come down to if they can find a way to get hot at the end of the season, because they have to. They're gonna have to beat teams that are probably, in most people's opinion, better than we are.
Yeah, I've been saying
that because of the offensive woes.
With what Brian said, I've been saying that, like, Dak is a good quarterback, but he's just good. If we want to build this team up to win a Super Bowl, I think we should start Trey Lance. And yeah, it's not going to go good at first. It's not going to be perfect, but we got to start getting him in now when we can so that he is ready, because Trey Lance had the potential to be someone that's a lot better than Dak, but we're never going to figure that out if we just ride out Dak until he dies, because he's not going to be that guy. It's either Super Bowl or bust for the Cowboys, and Dak is probably not going to be able to do it. So why not just start this young kid, get him in there, and see what he can do? I just hate that they keep him in and don't give him a chance. Like,
what if they build up his stock, trade him, and then get high draft capital with a young, talented quarterback?
They definitely could, but they have to decide.
Dak?
Yeah. Like if they're like, you know what, he isn't our guy. We're either gonna lose in the free agency or whatever. Like, let's get value of him, sell high aspect. Maybe they will. I don't know. It depends how much, if and when he fucks up.
It's like, do we want to be a team that's going to make it to the playoffs and probably lose and maybe potentially get to the championship? Probably not. Or do we want to be a team that takes a risk and potentially has a quarterback that can go out there and do it and have a higher chance maybe at a Super Bowl? I think we're just settling for mediocrity here with Dak.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of crazy to be talking about him like that after the man just won a game and probably played the best game of the year so far for himself, in considering the opponent. And so I don't know. I mean, now if we go on a losing streak, especially if we lose like 2 or 3, 4, 5 games to teams that we should be beating, but guys, we're 4-2.
How
the Eagles
loyal
just lost
is Jerry Jones to his quarterback?
To the Jets.
He's so loyal to his quarterbacks, he'll keep them there until they die.
And that's something to consider too.
Like I was saying,
he will ride the sinking ship until it's gone.
Yeah, I definitely am rooting for Dak, and I want all the best for him. I totally hope that he does, phenomenal this year, and proves all the haters wrong. It's just, I'm not going to base all my opinions off of just last week, because if I did, I would be sitting here saying how Dak could take us to the Super Bowl, but I'm basing it off of the past year so far, what he's looked like. I got to see more games from him, But
yes, all the Swifties think Zach Wilson's a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes because they saw him play the Chiefs. So
the Cowboys under Dak have had great years and great records and just failed in the playoffs. Yes, but there's half the teams. There's only one team from each conference that goes to the Super Bowl. The other 15 in each conference fail in the playoffs. So, I mean, we stuck with Romo after 8-8, after 8-8, after 8-8. You think we're going to go away from Dak when he's putting up 12 and 13 win seasons? It's not going to happen.
No, I agree. I was asking. I was wondering in your confidence of him to get you to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, like I said,
if we base it off last,
it hasn't happened yet.
It's possible, but if we base it off the whole season and what Dak's been like his whole career, I don't think so.
There's more games that we can point to that he's had good games than bad games through his career. And he's had, last year, the biggest thing was the interceptions, and especially it bit us in the ass in the playoffs. And he's had some bad games he's had 2 bad games this year.
Like taking the over and under on a guy. Like, are you going to take the over on the guy that's never taken us to the championship game? Right? It's like you can take the over on the guy that never wins in clutch time. It's hard to believe in it. I want him to, but he's just never shown that. He never has. And we have a great team this year. There's no excuse for him not to. He's got the perfect situation. He's got Tony Pollard. He's got CeeDee Lamb. He's got Cooks. Gallup as a wide receiver 3 is crazy because he has a potential to be far much better than he's played this year. He's a great wide receiver. We have such a good team.
Just got, I think you have to let him play. I think you have to let it play it out. I don't think you can I don't think it makes sense to go to an unproven, unknown quarterback. I don't think that's what they traded for him for. I don't think it's a good idea unless they go on a losing streak. If they go on a losing streak and Dak throws, 3 interceptions a game like he's done in both of his losses, then okay. Now it's time to see what the kid can do, because Dak has lost it. But I think I'm still of the mindset that last year the interceptions, the bad play, is more of an anomaly, and he's gonna this new system is gonna click eventually. I think we'll see.
If I were, having the ability to choose, I would honestly put in Trey Lance and Dak and just switch them out, especially just in the fourth quarter. If we're, winning by a lot, just put him in, just see what he can do. Just get people at least excited for him for next year. If we're not going to play him this year, just to see how he plays, how he does.
I think that's actually something good to mention too, is Dak, Trey Lance has had 2 chances this season already to come in when Dak stepped out of the game, and both times they put Cooper Rush in that spot.
Yeah, he's QB3 for sure.
So that's even more of a reason that these guys. I mean, he's been on the team now for what, a month? If he's the guy that's going to replace Dak, or that Dak should be worried about his job, then that guy's going to be QB2. He's not ready to play for us yet. And I think putting him in there right now would be more damaging to his career than it is to Dak.
Wasn't he a really high draft pick? I don't remember what exactly it was. They picked Trey Lance pretty early, didn't they? The 49ers?
Second or third overall.
I think it was third.
Fourth overall?
It was no lower than the 4th, if that's what it was.
Yeah, it was definitely higher. I just don't remember. But anyways, I mean, that's an amazing opportunity for the Cowboys. So
yeah, he was third. Third pick.
Either way, yeah, I'm glad that we just have him. But I wish we would play him a little bit. But
yeah, I think it's very telling that they don't even have him elevated to QB2 yet on the depth chart. And maybe it's because he doesn't understand the system. I mean, or in Rush does, or what? I have no idea. I don't know. And maybe the whole idea is to keep him sitting behind Dak and Rush, learning and soaking everything up. Maybe they're doing the old Green Bay thing where they let the young guy sit for a year or two on purpose.
I think that's more their route.
I mean, it's definitely what they would probably prefer, but because I think the Cowboys, like myself, at least have a positive viewpoint on Dak. I'm 50-50 that he can take us to a Super Bowl, but I still think he can. I think he can do more than he's done. I think he's capable of it.
If he continues to play like he played last game, I definitely think so. It's just my belief if he will or not, because last game he played a lot better than he's played before. So we'll just have to see. It would be dumb to take him out with how he's playing now, of course, because that was a great game. But we're just going to have to see how it plays out, really. I hope he continues to run the ball, because when Dak runs the ball, he usually does well in his games. He should be more of a rushing QB, because, like you said, that was like his biggest rush that he had. That was like one of my favorite plays I've ever seen by him.
And let's not forget that Dak had a fantastic and a career game against Tampa Bay in the playoffs last year, and took out the Tom Brady's Tampa Bay. And they had a shitty game against San Francisco. San Francisco had a shitty game against us, and somebody had to lose a shitty game. and it just happened to be the Cowboys. You know, I mean, it sucks, but sometimes that's what happens when two really good teams run into each other.
Next week, I'm excited for a couple games. I'm excited to watch that Chargers Kansas City game. I'm excited to watch that Miami Philadelphia game. Those games are going to be really hype.
That Miami Philadelphia game is going to be really interesting, and that's Sunday Night Football too.
My personal opinion,
Miami's going to torch them.
Yeah, I think
his pass defense sucks.
Yeah, I think Miami's going to torch them too.
Yeah, it's very possible that they go from 5-0 to 5-2.
Because of how high-powered Miami's passing offense is and how subpar Philly's pass defense is, it's got the opportunity to get out of hand pretty quick. If
they're going to have to keep up.
Exactly. If Philly can't match.
Yeah, I don't even know what the over/under on this game is, but I probably blindly pick the over.
Devontae Smith is going to have to put in some more work than he has in the past few games. A.J. Brown's going to have to keep doing as well as he's been doing. I don't think Julio Jones is going to come in immediately, but that was interesting. I saw that they took him for a year, and he's going to be on the team now. What do you guys think about that?
He's the veteran guy. Again? He's going to be
he just came to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Leadership in the locker room. He'll have a few pretty decent games, but he's not replacing A.J. Brown. He's not replacing Devonta Smith.
Oh, yeah, not even close. I mean, where was he last? He was with Titans, wasn't he?
Yeah, and it's what they're doing with DeAndre Hopkins this year.
You think he's going to be that
That's
like
where wide receivers
guy?
Go die. Randy Moss,
like wide receiver 3.
Yeah, he's still staying in the league, being that guy. He wants a ring. I think what Seven said is absolutely true. He's got enough talent to still stay on the field, and he's playing for teams that might be able to take him somewhere.
You old receivers just go to the Titans to die, Dabs.
Yeah, they do. Randy Moss, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones. Was it Adam Humphrey? No, I don't know. It's some other white wide receiver. I don't know his name. I don't know. It'll come to me.
Yeah,
I can tell you
a lot of veteran wide receivers go to Tennessee, a run-heavy offense, and then nothing happens.
Yeah, I didn't even know Julio went to the Titans, so that's interesting. But
wasn't he with the Titans for 2 years?
I think it was just a year.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was the year that they had. It was their last year with A.J. Brown, if I believe that's right.
I can tell you one that's going to be tough for me to pick is that Green Bay, Denver. Green Bay going to Denver.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Green Bay seems like might be the choice, but I ain't got any faith in Green Bay.
I like the Pittsburgh LA Ram game. I think it's gonna be a low key. It's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how that defense puts up. And I'm excited to see the Lions and Baltimore game too.
Yes, that's the other one I was looking at.
Yeah, that's going to be another man. Detroit's got a hell of a schedule, don't they? That's going to be another proving ground game for them.
Actually, after this game, they have the second easiest schedule after this next week.
Oh, really?
I think only 2 games out of the rest of the season are with teams with winning records as of right now.
Wow.
I just heard that today on Good Morning Football.
You think that Craig Reynolds is going to come in there and have a bigger role now that Montgomery's out, or do you think that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to take that main leading back role?
No, I think Jahmyr is going to stay how he is.
Because with how they've been using Jahmyr Gibbs, I would think that they would put him in, obviously, for the majority of all the carries, but it'll be interesting to see how that offense works without him because, man, he's been doing phenomenal. Been doing phenomenal.
Yeah, Jahmyr and David Montgomery are like the Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram duo in New Orleans.
Honestly, expected
14-3, imagine.
I can think imagine that's realistic.
Yeah. Now, I wouldn't have picked that for their record beforehand unless I really broke down the games, but like I said, I was on the Lions Lions to win this division anyway. Like, handedly.
Yeah, Montgomery's definitely did a little bit worse on the Bears comparatively to this year. But yeah, that Rams game will be interesting for sure.
And then the Monday Night Football game, of course. Those are two teams that if they don't get their personnel back, they're in trouble on offense, I think. Like I said earlier, if CMC and Debo sit, San Francisco's got their work cut out for them. But Minnesota's got their, missing JJ's hurting them bad. So, yeah, that one's going to be interesting.
I mean, when you lose the best wide receiver in the league, that sucks. I mean, he's phenomenal. So having a guy like that is a big oof for your team because they can't rely on their run game. Where Kirk Cousins getting old and withered out. I mean, their pass game could be a lot better still with the people that they have, but I'm not too confident on them this season, even with JJ there.
Don't get too hard on them. Arrow Dark started chirping in the chat.
I mean, look at what happened to them in the playoffs last year when they just scooped by and then lost.
Let's see what else we got. Where's my wrong button? Speaking of fantasy and Arrow Dark, show you guys a little bit of the real quick what the fantasy football. Why does it open over there? I'm over here. Oh, that's why. I'll figure this out eventually. There's how our fantasy football week went. Mr. Arrow Dark Cup holder. The biggest blowout. Brian, what's that one score next to that guy saying hamstrung? Now, Ray, again, not here to defend himself. Him and two in the pink, they were duking it out. They were trying to duke it out and steal the biggest loser from Brian.
Yeah, definitely could have been worse.
Man, I think I went all the way to about halfway through the afternoon games, and I still hadn't scored 50 points. I had 4 people playing in the Monday night game. I had Dak, CD Lamb, Ayuk for the or not Ayuk, Eckler for the Chargers, and then I had Aubrey, Dallas's kicker. So I had arguably the best people I put out there for the week were all playing in the Monday night games. So I was looking iffy going in. I think I had like 60 points or something like that. It was bad. It was looking bad.
Yeah, it was a really close mid-off, as Firestorm called it.
Yeah, but he took down first place. Handed him his first loss.
He did.
I will say it now. I'm about 2 to 3 weeks away from fire sale and rebuilding for next year. So,
bro, I'm right behind you. I'm 2-4.
You do have a really young team, you know.
I do, and that's why I drafted it. And I'm trying to be patient, but at the same time, I don't know what to do. I'm really in.
I mean, I'm open for trades right now in the leagues. I'm open to trading Adam Thielen if anyone wants to send me some trades. I know you need wide receivers. I don't know what you have all on your team, but you definitely have a lot of young guys. If not this year, you know, for next year, like Garrett Wilson and Bijan and all them. So
I got Jameer, Bijan, Garrett Wilson, and Jalen Hurts. I think that's a good core, but I think
they just haven't been performing as much as everyone thought they were going to be. You know.
Yeah, it takes time though. So
I got you, Brian. I'll take a look at it after the show.
Zay Flowers is another good one I got too.
Yeah, that's another young guy too.
Dabs, misery loves company. We got me at 2 and 4. We got you at 1 and 5. Bolt Action at 1 and 5, and Groot Trees at 1 and 5. So,
Bolt Action. I thought it was just me and Q fighting for the bottom there.
No. There's a 3-way tie for the bottom, and I'm flirting with you guys big time. Me and Uncle Rico.
We about to make this a foursome?
There's a big skills gap in our teams here. There's only 1 3-3 team. Everybody else is either 4 and 2 or better, or 2 and 4 or worse. Kind of interesting. There's only one team right in the middle at 500.
There's a lot of 4 and 2 teams right now.
Yeah.
It hurt me a lot to release Anthony Richardson today.
Dude, man, I couldn't imagine. That sucks, bro.
Is he done for the year?
I think so, yeah.
I have to get shoulder surgery.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he landed on it. It was pretty bad to land on his shoulder.
I haven't looked at his fantasy stats. I mean, he's not worth it. You already got an IR spot filled up? Deontay
Johnson. And I have Jalen Hurts as my QB1, so I wasn't hurting for a quarterback.
No pun intended.
Hulu has live sports. What?
I hate that commercial. I tend to hate any commercial that has anything to do with a Giant or an Eagle. Commanders are just kind of a joke. They're a meme, so I don't hate them so much these days. But Giants and Eagles, man, can't stand them. Don't make me go off on another tirade. Interesting. It's been a fun fantasy year so far, even though I'm getting my arse handed to me.
I don't know if it feels like this year there's a lot of injuries, but I feel like every year you say that.
What, me?
No, like just the fantasy football manager in general is like, oh man, there's tons of injuries this year. And then like you get so excited, the same thing every year. Man, there's tons of injuries. Like this is crazy.
Bro, because I think because we're constantly seeing the injury reports and so we're not just watching our own team, so we see and the injuries affect us in playing fantasy. So definitely. I think we it seems like a lot to us because we're right there, always knee deep looking at them.
I think it just seems so bad because it's been very running back focused and everyone's fiending for running backs, especially with the year starting off with Baltimore losing 2 running backs off the gate.
Well, it's such a shallow position in fantasy already.
Yeah.
It has been for several years with the teams going running back by committee and not one, 2 or 3 running backs every year holding out. It's it's been a rough one. Golly, that position has been beat up in fantasy.
Yeah.
Anybody want Kyle Pitts?
Kyle Pitts.
Brian, you want Kyle Pitts?
I don't know.
Or Evan Ingram?
I might do a trade for Evan Ingram, but
I'm rolling Kittle, bro.
I sent you a trade for Pitts.
Actually, I need a tight end this week, don't I?
I sent you Josh Reynolds for him, which I thought was a pretty decent trade because he's a pretty good flex.
But Jameson Williams is coming back, so he's
already back.
Yeah, so I don't know. Kyle Pitts went off last week, but that's been it.
I'll send you another trade. See what I got.
Do a live trade offer for the stream.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now.
I don't know what I have to offer for those people. Let's see. Because Josh Reynolds, I'm okay with getting rid of him, and I'm okay with getting rid of Adam Thielen, but that's not a fair trade. I'm not going to give you him.
Who you want for Bijan?
Yeah,
I'll take
Brian,
Bijan.
You can kiss my black ass, dude. You're not getting anybody off me.
Oh, that means he probably sent me a trade for Eckler.
He's gonna keep Bijan just like you keep Christian McCaffrey. He's never gonna give him away.
Let's
Bijan, Jameer, Jalen, and Zay Flowers. Those are my 4. They are the untouchables. So anybody else is fair game.
T. Higgins for Austin Eckler is what Brian sent me.
Get the fuck out. That's insulting.
Brian, can I send the injured reserve some of my people as long as you trade them back? I'll send you over Kyron Williams. You can hold him and then give him to me back when I need space.
I'll give you Zay Flowers for a 2nd round pick and $50. No,
$50.
That's illegal. People, don't do that.
Bro,
it's not allowed in the league.
He didn't even try to sweeten the deal with a draft pick or anything. Like, he didn't even try to make it a real trade. That's embarrassing, bro.
Sorry.
I hate that I had to read that on stream. Doesn't mean he's one. Is he a 1st round draft pick? Because Eckler is.
T. Higgins? Nah, he's like a 4th or 5th round draft pick.
That was a rhetorical question, bro.
Brian, yeah,
that was a rhetorical, 100% rhetorical.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hey, let's how did we do on our? Let's take a look at how we did on our parlay. We're running out of time here.
By the way, the Zay Flowers pick, if they didn't call a penalty on him, he would have got it, and they called it back, and he didn't get it. It hurts.
What was the other one we?
Yeah, I mean those are the intangibles you can't bet on, right? He would have had the over 50. Yeah, I think he finished with 50. Zay Flowers, right?
Mm-hmm. He was
50 yards exactly.
50.
But we missed on the over 42.5 in the Lions-Buccaneers game.
That's the one that, that's the one that we missed. The Lions and Bucks. We went over 42.5, and I don't think it even came close, did it? It's like 30 something.
Yeah, it was well under.
Yeah. We got that Christian McCaffrey TD, though, before he went out of the game.
Yep.
That was his 15th straight game with a TD. So,
if you have Christian McCaffrey by your side, it's hard to not just hand him the ball in the end zone. He'll just make it happen.
Yeah. But most games, he only gets one. He only gets one. Everybody gets one. And then the Zay Flowers, that didn't work out so well for us. So we were only 50% on our. That's the first time. That is the very first time that we missed more than one thing. All the other bets we've only missed the one, and it was always Rays. This time it was Janu and Dabs.
No, I got mine. I picked the under.
Yeah, it was.
That was Ray again. That's
Ray
right.
missed it anyways.
Ray.
Even if I didn't miss it.
Ray, dude, come on. If you're the
he's
gambler,
not even
man,
here to decide.
You gotta pick. Come on, dude. You're costing me money.
I'd hit my picks on underdog, so I'm happy. So I would definitely be down to hear you guys' opinion on the next game. If I should do the Thursday game or wait for a game on Sunday.
What's the Thursday game again?
It's Jacksonville and who?
Yeah, well, first of all, you got to know Trevor Lawrence is going to miss time, right?
More likely than not, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing we need to add on that is to say specifically whether they're already out for the following week or not. Add that to their injury report.
That's hard to do because it's Tuesday. And the final practice reports for the game are Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, but there's some guys that we already know.
Yes, definitely. They're out. But there's guys
having surgery.
If he doesn't
Stevenson, CJ McCaffrey, all those kind of guys are questionable, so it's hard to make calls. But I know what you're saying. Yep.
Yeah, we'll have a clearer picture by Thursday, if not Friday.
Yeah.
But for the Thursday game, we should know if Trevor Lawrence is out.
You'll know
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah, you'll know tomorrow.
Wait, we should know today, right? 2 days before? I don't know. I guess he could still be questionable. He could be game time decision for all I know.
Last I saw was doubtful. So
if he's doubtful, if it's showing doubtful on the fantasy football 2 days before the game, then he ain't playing.
I didn't check our app. I use a different website for injury news. So,
do you guys know anything about CJ Beathard?
Beathard?
Beathard? Is that how you say it?
Not Beathard. Come on, dude. It's Beathard.
It'd be cooler if it was Beathard.
What's up, Beathard?
Beat teams hard.
What do you beat hard? 8th grade was probably a bitch for him.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Lawrence was limited in today's practice.
All right.
They're optimistic that he will play.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's something to keep an eye on, though. Even if he does play, so you got to think like, is Trevor Lawrence at like 80-85% better than your other quarterback?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that if you do bet on that game, you could potentially take the under on a lot of those guys. You know, in Jacksonville, especially if he doesn't play. So
yeah, well, especially if he doesn't play for sure.
It's like a Joe Burrow situation. It's even more difficult if they're like, yeah, he could probably go.
But also, is that an opportunity to pick an over on somebody that's like a third or fourth wide receiver that the backup quarterback might have a little bit more rapport with?
Yeah, he's been his backup for a while, it looked like. I haven't personally seen him play before. I don't know anything about him. I don't know if he's good or not. But from what I read
with the 49ers, and he did all right. He's like a Blake Bortles level kind of guy.
It'll be an interesting game to watch. I don't know if the Saints can get it done. They've been
not
looking
with
iffy.
Not with Jameis Winston. Is anybody heard on Derek Carr? He's still hurt, right?
I haven't heard on Derek Carr news now.
Jameis Winston, though, is one of those that he'll surprise you every once in a while and throw up a 5-touchdown game.
Oh, yeah, 5 touchdowns, but then he'll throw 3 interceptions with that 5 touchdowns. So,
well, or he'll follow the next game up with a 3 or 4 interception game.
Yeah.
That's like, it's a tale of two cities with him. Fitzmagic, he was another one that would do that. Yes. He'd throw up 5 touchdown game, put up 450 yards, and run for 12, 15 yards or whatever. Like have just a monster stat line, and then the next game he'd blow ass 100 yards and 3 interceptions, and it's like, what happened to my dude?
Yeah,
what? It's crazy.
I'll be right back.
I'll be right back. He must have had another beer. Yeah, I gotta pay.
Have any other big topics that we didn't hit today and talk about?
No, I think that's about it. If you guys do want to get into Monday Night Football Squares, they will be back this week. We didn't do them last week because I really wasn't doing any streams, but this Monday Night Football, we got the 49ers and Vikings. If you guys want to get into some Monday Night Football Squares, 100 bits per square, and I will put the numbers on the board right before the game. Up to 8,000 V-Bucks available for a board that's at least 75% full. So lots of V-Bucks to be won for the Fortnite lovers out there. And don't forget the pick'ems. Pick'ems in Monday Night Football. Easy ways to win stuff. Stuff and stuff. You want to win stuff and stuff? Come on. Let's go.
Did you post that pick'ems board in Discord already?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep. And if you don't see it right away because the sports channel is real busy this time of year, just check the pinned comments. It's always going to be in the pinned comments. In the sports channel, the Discord. I don't have my stream deck hooked up, but you can type !Discord in my chat and it will give you the link to the Discord. Dabs, do you have a Discord command in your chat?
Yes. I don't remember what it is.
Exclamation point Discord, maybe?
Probably.
Maybe.
7 says the Aaron Rodgers situation sus. I don't know. He's recovering so fast. Must be taking something.
Yeah. It's all a CBD, right, Wakko?
Yeah, all that CBD.
Heck yeah, bro.
And ayahuasca. Apparently, you've been taking the ayahuasca too.
Those darkness
really?
retreats.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he came back at the end of the season just in time for the playoffs for him to do what he's got to do. But I feel like with the way that Zach Wilson's been playing, if he continues to do as good, I don't know if they'll necessarily need him. Like, I'm not super, super high on Zach Wilson yet, but he's been doing better like every single game. He's been actually improving.
Honestly,
ever since he played in front of Donna Kelsey. The dude loves himself.
That's all he needed.
Bro, I actually had him a couple of years ago on my fantasy team, and he wasn't half bad. He was actually my number one of the 2 quarterbacks because that's a super flex league, and he was my regular quarterback. If I didn't start 2, I was still starting him. He kind of fizzled out towards the end of the year, but and then he wasn't great last year. That's for sure. But he's had some potential before. And, even though Aaron Rodgers isn't playing the games, he's still working with the kid. He still wants that kid to win because Aaron Rodgers thinks that he's going to be back this year. So there's nobody rooting for Zach Wilson as much as Aaron Rodgers is right now, because Aaron Rodgers wants to be set up in a good spot so when he can get in, he'll take him to the playoffs. That's what's going on in Aaron Rodgers' mind right now. So he's coaching that kid up in practice.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The Jets are feeling real confident right now.
Well, they got to with that defense. They've got a great defense. You know what?
Yeah,
and that's kind of the theme. The teams with the best defenses have been winning games. The Jets won over the Eagles. The Cleveland won over the 49ers. The Cowboys finally, came back and won. It's like the teams that have these defensive studs out there just making huge differences in their games.
Yeah, it was a crazy week last week, especially for underdog teams. I was thinking the Giants were finna win that game, dude. They were so close to actually winning. That was ridiculous how close it was.
Giants, man, they can't get out of their own way.
No, especially for fantasy. It's hard for me to ever want to pick up anyone on the Giants, no matter how much they talk them up, because I can't trust it, man.
Staying out of their own way? You can say about all New York teams. Bills, Jets, and Giants.
Watch out. You're gonna rile up 7.
Is he a Bills fan?
Yeah.
Bills Mafia?
Bills Mafia.
That sucks.
Right now we can say that about all of our teams.
Yeah.
That sucks. Oh man. No, I'm happy with. I'm celebrating the win for the Cowboys this week. I think it's a good. Get a bye week, get some extra practice, work on the things that hadn't been working. I think you could see a different team come out, different offense come out of the bye for the Cowboys. I really do. I have to hope that way. I have to. I'm a fan.
Tennessee has a bye week this week.
I have a question for you, Dabs. As a Titans fan, how confident are you in your team for the rest of the season? I know they haven't been doing that well, but as a fan, what are you looking forward to? Like, because we always talk about the bad sides. What's your good side to the Titans?
The good side, Tajay Spears. That's about it.
Wow. Okay.
I just feel like they're running an old style offense that in their division, everybody's transforming into like this mobile quarterback, high speed wide receiver, high speed running backs. Everybody wants to copy what the Dolphins are doing. And they're not doing that. They're run heavy, old school, fill the box.
And they're not even using their best runner.
And they're not even using their best running back.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my opinion, I just say out with the old and with the new, rebuild, try to get that speed kind of thing going on.
Do you think Tajay Spears is going to be that guy coming up in the future? Do you think he's going to be able to fill that big role of Derrick Henry?
If they switch their game scripts and their game plans, I think they need to move on from the traditional old school, like Steelers steel curtain type defense where you just pound it like in them. Not the Steelers defense, but you know what I mean? That old school I formation kind of pound. Just you run it 80% of the game.
Yeah,
I don't think that's how the game runs these days
anymore.
No, it's spread them out, pass the ball, options, and they're just not doing that.
Well, they're going to have to switch up something because it's not going to work.
This is Tannehill's contract year. I think he's done. It's Henry's contract year. They're going to either trade him or they're going to move on from him.
Just must be like, it must suck because you just know the rest of the year. It's be like, well, we're not going to really do anything. So just have to wait till next year, you know?
Nah, it's nothing new.
Are you
year.
looking more towards? I know you're a Titans fan, but I know you also root for the Browns. So are you more so looking forward to that?
I am more invested in the Browns because they're more interesting to watch right now.
I like watching the Browns.
Trash fire, dumpster fire. So
yeah, I like rooting for the Browns. One of my favorite underdog teams. I just really don't like Deshaun Watson, and I wish they wouldn't have signed Deshaun Watson.
Same, dude. Yeah. And I can tell you most people in Cleveland feel the same way.
I think I was just so dumb of them. Not even just for his stats, I guess, or whatever, but just the type of person he is. I mean,
yeah. Well, and his guaranteed amount of money, like you just come off that big a scandal and they're going to pay you, what, $240 guaranteed?
Crazy.
Nah, man.
Debatably, my hot take is I think if Deshaun Watson was playing that game, they wouldn't have won. I don't think he's good. I think they always play better when he's not there, even just in spirit of him not being there. It's like the team's just like, all right, we're going to go out there and do good now. Amari Cooper is going to do amazing now.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, I didn't like Deshaun Watson. I liked him in college. He went to the Texans, couldn't cheer for him because I hate Houston. And then all that shit happened, went to Cleveland, so I don't cheer for him.
Yeah.
A lot of people love Dorian Thompson-Robinson, that rookie, though.
I tell you what, a few years back, I had the Deshaun Watson, what was his wide receiver? Hopkins. I had that combo in fantasy.
Oh.
It was so money, bro. It was so money. Even when they lost, they still were putting up tons of yards and points, fantasy points. That was
he was talented, but
that was a great combo to have in fantasy.
He got hurt and then he got suspended.
Yeah.
He's just not the same dude. He hasn't shown that he's not the same. He hasn't shown that he is the same.
He doesn't seem to just be like a leader or have a good mentality. Like just kind of like how people view like Russell Wilson. That's why Russell Wilson's so hated too. He just doesn't seem like the guy, you know? He doesn't seem like the face of the franchise. So I don't know why they tagged him there. I don't know.
Yeah, Russell Wilson is a different. I mean, he's on the total end of his career, though. He was the man for a long time and very respected in Seattle.
He had his 7 minutes of fame.
By what I've heard from Beast Mode, they say that he didn't really have a connection with a lot of the players and that Beast Mode didn't really ever talk to him. He tried to hit him up later on about everything that went on, and they didn't really talk as friends, just teammates. And as a Cowboys fan, you know, it's kind of the opposite of how our team runs. Our team is very connected, you know, we're the boys. So to say that, to hear that, apparently after the Russell Wilson threw that pick, Beast Mode went up in the coach's face and went, ha, 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 and then ran off, didn't even watch the last few plays. And that's the type of relationship those guys had together. So as I couldn't imagine being in that type of situation on a team, you know, especially with a team as good as they were in that prime year, you know. and I don't think they've recovered since. As a team, you got to have that connection, you know. It's how a team functions.
It doesn't honestly, some of that doesn't even really surprise me. Russell Wilson was kind of a, I don't know, probably by a lot of people's standards, he was kind of an odd duck. But Beast Mode was a clown, bro. He was a clown. And so, you know, maybe they just didn't have the best personalities, but they were both studs at the same time on the same team. I mean, they won a Super Bowl together.
Yeah, I don't think the football community is ever going to let down that Super Bowl, man. That was a tragedy. I still don't think they've recovered since then, because it seems like he's trying to run that offense just like they had it before, but he needs to let the players do what they do best and not try and recreate that same offense, you know? Sucks. But I'm excited for Seattle this year. They've been playing a bit better these last couple of games. They look pretty good. Geno Smith's looking pretty decent.
He's not the guy.
You don't think so?
No.
If he was the guy, he would have shown it 9 years ago.
He's doing the same thing that Baker Mayfield is doing.
He's
doing better than most people. Yeah. Most people would expect him to do, but everybody knows deep down they're not the guy that's going to take that team to a Super Bowl. They're doing a lot better than most people expect, but they're not the guy.
Yeah, I mean, as a Seattle fan,
has a better shot than Geno.
The 1-5 Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay is not 1-5,
aren't they? Or are they 2-3?
I don't know their record.
I thought they had a winning record, but I might be wrong.
They are 3-2.
3-2.
They're going to.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, they are 3-2.
They're going to make the playoffs.
They actually have done better than most people expected them to be.
Yes. They're this year's Seahawks, like last year.
So you think Tampa Bay has a better chance of making the playoffs and doing well than Seahawks?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, as a Seattle fan, you're always going to look back to that Super Bowl and just compare the teams. So it's kind of, I guess, similar with the Cowboys. No matter how good you do, it's Super Bowl or bust type deal. You got to have that team. You're that guy. You're not that guy.
You're not the guy. All right. Anybody got an extra point?
No, sir.
It's time to wrap her up. Put her to bed.
You're going down, Wakko.
Oh man, I haven't even looked at our. I know I got Cowboys on the bye. I got San Francisco on a bye too, right? Who are our bye teams this week?
Cowboys, I know for sure.
Titans.
Yeah, Titans. I'm losing my kicker because of that. So
Nick Folk.
Yep.
I got Jake Elliott. He's like number one scoring kicker this year. So far.
Except for last game, he did bad, but before that, yeah, pretty good.
Touche.
Oh, Panthers, Bengals, Cowboys, Texans, Jets, Titans. So the only thing that really hurts me on my THF league is Cowboys out for the week. That hurts because that's my quarterback, my number one wide receiver, and my kicker. But you got a lot of people out and hurt too, so I'm not worried about you this week.
You should be. But yeah, it's going to be a tough week for me, so if there's a will, there's a way.
Revenge. I'm getting revenge for last year.
You're going to lose by a point again. It's going to be the curse.
This is 0.08. I'll never forget.
Oh, man.
Sent me on a tailspin. I didn't win a single game the rest of the year.
You better hope Aaron Williams ain't healthy.
For a few days.
Yeah. I was looking
for but you're losing a lot of people too. You don't have CD Lamb.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. I'm screwed. No.
Whose second string team will do the best?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players on bye this week. Oh, yeah, that's right. When I drafted, this is the week. I said week 7. I was gonna.
That's right.
It was an automatic loss for me.
Yeah.
Well,
so you better not lose.
It's a good week for me to have a bunch of players out. It's gonna be an interesting mid-off probably this week. It's probably gonna be like that game that Firestorm had.
Yeah. Oh boy. I need I actually need Debut to miss, so Kittle goes off this week. That's what I need. Oh, and I have Elijah Mitchell, so let's go ahead and just we'll just count CMC out this week too.
I have Jordan Mason, so we'll see who gets more play.
Yeah.
I think the McCaffrey situation is sticky.
He's probably gonna play.
He's gonna play, but like, how much is he gonna play? Like, because you're not gonna bench McCaffrey, but
are you gonna bench him if he plays?
If he plays, you're gonna play him.
You have to.
You have to.
You don't.
You don't.
It's hard to bench McCaffrey, but like,
he's got a 15-game touchdown streak.
Yeah, at minimum, he's gonna get a touchdown, possibly. You know, so even if he only puts 10 points on the board,
but don't be surprised when he starts and only scores you 7, 8 points because he gets that touchdown and like 10 yards. Because he might not get a lot of playing time.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Might be in there most of the time on the field as a decoy or a blocker or something.
Definitely going to be having to finesse the waivers this week. So it'll be interesting.
And plus, who are they playing? Minnesota. If they get up on Minnesota, CMC is going to sit. Let the kids handle it. Running out the clock.
Oh, I have 2 players from the Philly and Miami game. AJ Brown and Waddle.
Yeah,
at least one of those guys got to go off bad.
Those guys are going off this week.
Yeah.
All right. Look. We'll see how it shakes out.
Who are you going against, Dabs?
Tua in the pink, I think.
Oh.
I'm projected to lose quite handedly.
He barely scored 100 points.
Cup holder.
Oh yeah, good luck.
Yeah,
that's he's been one of the top scorers like the last 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
you better hope he's got people on bye like me.
We're just hoping for not the worst. Let's just put it that way.
Not the worst. Not the worst. All right, boys, that's all I got tonight. You guys good?
Yeah.
Yep. All good.